Movies have the ability to immerse us into the film in order to terrify us. But what makes horror movies even scarier? Well, the answer is when they're based on true events, because you're thinking, oh my god, this can happen right now. So this is the top 10 horror movies based on true stories, part 2. If you guys want part 1, click right over here. It's time to get scared, so starting us off in at number 10, we have Jaws. The American classic horror movie was directed by Steven Spielberg, and it's about a giant man-eating great white shark that attacks swimmers on Amity Island. Well, this movie was based on a novel written by Peter Penchley, and it was inspired by a series of shark attacks that plagued the New York Jersey shore in 1916. 5 people were attacked, in which 4 have died. A 7-foot-long great white shark was killed, and its stomach was found to contain human remains. Moving into number 9, we're talking about the film The Town That Dreaded Sundown. This film is about a Texas Ranger hunting for a hooded serial killer who has terrorized the residents of a small town. The movie was based on the Texarkana Moonlight murders that occurred in 1946. He was responsible for killing 5 out of the 8 people he attacked, and he would target young couples that were out late at night. He was also described by witnesses as wearing a white mask or sack with holes that was cut out for eyes. It has been nearly 70 years and the case remains unsolved. Scaring us now at number 8 is Open Water. This one was terrifying. This was a 2003 psychological horror film about a couple who go scuba diving while on a trip to the Caribbean, only to find themselves stranded miles away from shore in shark-infested waters. The film was based off the real-life couple Tom and Eileen Lonergan. Back in 1998, they were on a scuba diving expedition along the Great Barrier Reef when their group forgot all about them and they were left. The couple was never found and they were presumed to have died at sea. Eaten Alive trumps its way to number 7. The film was released in 1976 and it was about a psychotic hick who owns a hotel and he kills various people who upset him and he feeds their bodies to a large crocodile that he keeps as a pet in a nearby swamp. This movie is loosely based on the story of Joe Ball, how he lived in Texas during the 1930s. He owned a bar with an alligator pit that served as entertainment. Well, several women were murdered and flesh was found in the alligator pit. Number 6 brings us to Wolf Creek. This is a 2005 Australian horror film about 3 backpackers who find themselves taken captive, and after they escape, they were hunted down by a serial killer in the Australian outback. The film was based on the abduction and murder of Peter Falconio and the assault of his girlfriend Joanne Lees back in July of 2001, and it was inspired by Ivan Millets, who would kidnap hitchhikers and torture them in the woods. Halfway there at number 5 is Silence of the Lamb. This, yes, it was a true story. Crazy. This was released in 1991 and it was about a young FBI agent who was assigned to gather information from the incarcerated and manipulative killer Hannibal Lecter in order to help capture another serial killer who skins his victims. The serial killer was referred to as the Buffalo Bill, and he was based on a number of real-life serial killers including Ed Gein, who skinned his victims, and Ted Bundy, who used to lure gullible and innocent women. The 1960 film Psycho brings us to number 4. Psychological horror thriller is inspired by the case of convicted Wisconsin murderers and grave robber Ed Gein. Both Ed Gein and the film's protagonist Norman Bates were murdered in isolated rural locations. Each had a deceased mother and they both sealed off a room in their home and created a shrine for her. After Ed Gein's mother's passed away, he began robbing graves and would keep the body parts as trophies and experiment with the human taxidermy. However, unlike Norman Bates, Ed Gein is not considered a serial killer because he was convicted of only 2 murders. Up next at number 3, we have The Exorcism of Emily Rose. This is a 2005 American horror film that is based on the story of Annalise Michel. She was a young German Catholic woman who died in 1976 after unsuccessful attempts to perform an exorcism. 2 priests involved in the exorcism as well as her parents were found guilty of manslaughter, which resulted from their negligence, and they all got prison time. This is because Annalise was dehydrated and malnourished. This is one of the most famous exorcism movies, and most of the events in the movies are true. Coming into number 2 on this list is Annabelle. This 2014 supernatural horror film was inspired by the story of a doll named Annabelle. She's a haunted Raggedy Ann doll that is kept in a glass box in a museum in Connecticut. According to some claims, the doll behaved strangely, and a medium told the previous owner that the doll was inhabited by a spirit of the dead girl named Annabelle Higgins. The previous owner became frightened by the doll's malicious behavior and contacted Ed and Lorraine Warren to remove the doll because it was demonically possessed. Finally, we made it to number 1 spot for the top 10 horror movies based on true stories. Part 2 is The Strangers. This 2008 horror film is about a young couple who are terrorized by these 3 masked people. The director claimed that his main inspiration for the film was based on the true crime book Helter Skelter, which is about the Manson family murder. The movie is also inspired by the Ketty cabin murders of 1981, which is an unsolved quadruple homicide that occurred in California. The victims victims were bludgeoned with hammers, they were stabbed repeatedly and strangled. Well, there you guys have it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. This was a whole lot of fun. This is actually pretty frightening if you ask me. Let me know if you guys want another part in the comment section below. Well, that's it for me in this video, guys. I'll see you guys all very, very soon in a new Most Amazing Top 10 video. Bye.
Oh, what the? What the heck? Where's the video? Oh, hey guys. You guys should watch my previous video, which is over here. Over here. You guys can watch this video. Just click on it. It's annotated. And then the other video that we've done in the past is right over here. You guys can actually click on that. And, oh yeah. Don't forget to subscribe as well. You guys can go right down here. You guys can do it a few times, I think. Just hit it over here, subscribe. Okay, that's it for me, guys. I don't know what's going on here, but I'll see you guys next video. Oh yeah.